We're already seeing, and we're going to continue to see, massive increase in gas prices. And this is going to be dramatically accelerated because the United States will announce today, by the time you watch today's show, listen to today's podcast, it may already have been announced. The U.S. will ban oil from Russia, and the European Union plans to reduce by 2/3 the amount of oil purchased from Russia. We are already at record high gas prices, and this is only going to get worse. And I'm going to talk about all aspects of this. I'll talk about the political. I will talk about the technological, the climate change component, and the economic. But let's start with the big news today. The U.S. is expected today to announce a ban on Russian oil. The White House updated President Joe Biden's schedule to include an announcement of additional steps the U.S. will take to hold Russia accountable for its war on Ukraine. Those remarks will be delivered at the White House today, and the expectation is a ban on imports of Russian oil, which would cut about 8% of America's annual supply. Now, I want to remind everybody, we hear this talking point from the right. We were energy independent under Trump, and now we no longer are. The truth is that in the last couple of years of Trump, as well as last year under Joe Biden, the U.S. produced as much oil as it used. But that doesn't mean we only use our own oil. Some of the oil we produce, we export, and we also import. So even though total production and consumption were roughly equal the last couple of years of Trump and Biden, that is true. But also, oil is imported from Russia regularly. It's about 8% of American oil consumption, and that is going to stop. That has already caused oil prices to spike. In addition, the European Union is pledging to cut Russian gas imports by 2/3. Did I say oil before? I meant to say gas. The EU is pledging to cut Russian gas imports by 2/3 before the end of the year. And that will also have an impact on energy prices, gas rather than oil. On top of this, Shell will no longer buy Russian oil nor Russian gas. Shell said it is breaking completely with Russia's giant energy industry, halting all purchases of Russian crude oil immediately and shutting service stations in the country. The UK-based company last week announced it was dumping investments in Russia, said it is abandoning all trade in Russian fossil fuels to align with government guidance. Russia is warning of $300 oil and threatening to cut off European gas if the West bans energy imports. And now Europe is saying, well, we're cutting down by 2/3 anyway. So Russia looking to escalate and threaten. And believe me, I'm against the use of fossil fuels. I believe our transition to renewables has been pathetically slow and hindered by bad or lack of policy in large oil consuming Western nations, all of it. And I can't ignore that $300 oil and what it would do to gas prices and home heating, gasoline prices and home heating would be devastating to anyone who is in a financially precarious or even balanced, but not exactly a surplus economic situation. And we're going to talk about that. Now, we are already seeing record gas prices. The average is now right around $4.19 per gallon. And if you go back, over the last 10 years, gas got close to about $3.94 back in 2012. About $3.69 in 2014. This is the highest that gas prices have been in 10 years. So where do we even start? First and foremost, we have to remember the political. How can American presidents impact gas prices? Gas prices are up globally, and there are lots of people who just want to blame Joe Biden. This is very stupid. Now, fact check me on this. I don't play politics with gas prices. When gas prices are low under a Democrat, I say presidents have very little to do with gas prices. When gas prices are low under a Republican, I say presidents have very little to do. When gas is high under a Republican or a Democratic president, I say presidents don't have very much to do with gas prices. Fact check me on it. This is a very dumb political football. What can presidents do to impact gas prices? Okay. One, an American president can say, we're going to war against an oil producing country. Usually that raises gas prices. When we go to war with a country that produces oil, it's potentially going to disrupt the supply. So when an American president says, let's invade, like, for example, the first Iraq war, prices tend to go up. Number two, a president can change gasoline taxes, raise or lower, and they can't unilaterally do it, but a president can advocate for that. And if gas taxes go up, then gas prices go up. And okay, so that's number two. And then number three, and this is the most commonly discussed one, there's this thing called the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. And a president can release oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which will cause a small decrease in the price of oil and eventually gas, or it will slow down the increase if gas prices are increasing really quickly. So presidents can do very, very little. And this is global. It's happening everywhere. So if your priority is blaming Biden, I don't even want to hear from you because it's just not even substantive. The more pressing question is, number one, this again exposes how humiliatingly, woefully behind we have been on getting off of oil. Now, I know it's like, oh, you're going to do that. You're going to be that guy, David. I understand that transitioning off of oil takes time. Transitioning off of natural gas takes time. Putting solar panels on roofs and having electric heating and cooking and electric cars so that you get off fossil fuels other than for the production of all of the stuff that you're using. I get that that takes time, but we also need to remember that we didn't make much progress under Obama. We didn't make almost any progress under Trump. We continue to have completely inaccurate gas prices. In other words, our gas prices don't even come close to reflecting the true cost of gasoline on the environment and on the economy and on society. So it's been pathetic. And I also understand how, if you're a family that, like 40% of families in the United States, can't meet an unexpected $400 expense without taking on debt, putting on a credit card or whatever. I understand that if gas prices go up to $5-6 a gallon, which $5.20 is one of the numbers that's being thrown around, average gallon could go to $5.20. And you need heating oil to heat your home because you don't have one of these new fancy electric heat pumps and solar panels and all that. You're still paying for oil. I get how you'll probably end up going into debt just to fuel your car and heat your home. So we can hold both at the same time, but let's at least be accurate in terms of who is to blame for this and the real role of presidents. And once the announcement is made and more accurate forecasts are made, we will follow that up. One of our sponsors is called Privacy. Privacy is a totally free service that I've been using for years. Privacy lets me create virtual payment cards with one click. And when I use the virtual card, the money is taken out of my bank account. You can create multiple cards, delete them, freeze them, set a spending limit on them. Let's say I'm signing up for a free trial and it requires a credit card. Privacy will autofill a virtual card number. And then after signing up, I can delete that virtual card. So I know I'm not going to be charged again. Something really useful and very practical. Or let's say I'm ordering food over the phone, but I left my wallet somewhere. I don't have my real credit card on me. I can use a virtual card on my Privacy mobile app. But really the best part is you're not out there exposing your real credit card number, so you're not as susceptible to data breaches and identity theft. Privacy is a totally free service, and you'll get $5 to spend when you go to privacy.com/Pacman. The link is right underneath this video.